Okay. We'll do that.
Thank you.
We will get started here in just a second. More and more people coming in. Gary Jordan. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Good. I'm trying to stay warm over here.
Look cool today, huh?
Yeah, it was 1 below when I got up this morning. Sean, it's cold here.
Ooh.
Sean's direct down there in Texas. Is it warm down there? You getting some cold?
The front just came. We were, was it yesterday, day before, 83. Crazy. Today, 51. Tomorrow's gonna be like 38. It's a hot.
Yeah. No, it's cold here. We got a cold week coming up. So anyway, Steve McManus, good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thank you.
Good to have you. Definitely. Elaine Bennett back in Indianapolis. I know you're muted. You got that big $1.8 million listing going on over there.
I do.
How's that going for you?
Great.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. So
Thank you.
So guys, let's go ahead. There's a few more people coming in here. They're jumping in. I finally figured out how to turn off that annoying ding every time somebody comes. Jeez, that was always a pain. So we got that technology. Great when we understand it. So guys, let's go ahead and get started. Appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much. We're doing this every Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, where I'm at in Colorado. We got agents coming in here from all over the country. So, and all different companies actually. So it's great to have everybody here. Just a good training, good mastermind. We can all kind of just learn from each other, share some things. Again, doing this every Tuesday. So it's great to have you guys here. Anything you want to contribute, throw out, take notes, jump in. The more we can talk about some of the stuff that Elizabeth's going to speak on, the better. So, Elizabeth, let's see. Are you able to unmute yourself? There you go. I know you're getting yourself set up. If you need a few more minutes, that's totally fine. But guys, Elizabeth Riley is training today. I'm gonna let her tell her story, but she's been with EXP now for 7 years, probably longer than anybody on this call. I know I've been here for 4, which has been amazing. But she's got a great story. She's doing phenomenal things down there in. You're in Austin, is that right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, I'm in Austin. Yep.
Austin, Texas. But she's hit. One of the things that happens, just so you guys know, that not a part of EXP. When you hit this icon rank, so. You cap here and you do an additional 20 deals, you become an icon agent. There's a lot of rewards and benefits with that. And Elizabeth has hit that every single year. I think you've been here, right? The whole time?
Yeah.
Hit that out, which is it's a huge accomplishment. Something a lot of agents shoot for here in terms of production and stuff. So she's just a big agent, doing some big things. So anyway, Elizabeth, why don't you go ahead and share your story a little bit and jump into this? You're going to do some training for us. I got my notepad ready. So it's going to be awesome. Appreciate you doing it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This is awesome. I'm Elizabeth Riley. Like Jeff said, I'm in Austin, Texas. I've been licensed for almost 17 years. I've actually been at EXP 6.5. And so I'll be here April or May will be my 7th year, which is insane. The Icon Award I actually hit twice in 1 year, which was crazy as well. But anyway, my backstory is I got licensed in Atlanta, Georgia a number of years ago because my husband and I were investors. And my CPA told me that one of us had to get our license. So I was not one of those people looking to be in real estate. I was doing some really cool events. I was actually working on the Greece Olympics at that time. So real estate didn't seem all that exciting to me, but I went ahead and I got my license. I just started letting people know that I was friends with. Hey, I've got my license. I was very casual about it. Like I said, it wasn't my big goal and dream. And so I just said, if you guys need any help, let me know. And all of a sudden I started working with people that knew, liked, and trusted me. And I was having so much fun. So I built my business up in Georgia and I was a top producer there. And then my husband was transferred to Austin, Texas in 2008. If you remember 2008, for y'all that were in the business then, it was not the best time in the market. It was definitely not the best time to start a new real estate business in a new city, in a new state where you knew nobody. But for me, I saw opportunity because I just came from Atlanta and we had burst. So we were doing foreclosures and short sales, and in the Austin market was actually a better market than Atlanta was. So I just, I'll tell you guys a little bit about how I built that up and show you some of that today. But, the best way to get into business is to get to know people. And it's not about who you know, it's who knows you, right? So I just started, I had one child at the time, and we lived in a townhouse community of 44 people. And I just knocked on doors, not to get business, but to build a relationship and get to know who my neighbors were and ask them, say, hi, we just moved here, and they want to know who you are. And you just start that dialogue. So I had 4 children during that time, and I built my business and became, in 2014, we had 650 agents in my market center, and I was number 1. And I came home after winning that, and I told my husband I was getting out of business. And he said, you're crazy. You've worked so hard. You've done so much. Why are you getting out of the business? And I said, because it's now a job, right? We talk about a lot, God, family, business, and that's really important to me. And it had become all business, and God and family were somewhere below, and I was not okay with that. I had a husband who was traveling internationally. I had 4 children, and I just, I had a lot of mom guilt. So all the mamas on here, I totally get it. I still have mom guilt, but I had to make a change, and I had to do something different. And my husband said, start your own brokerage. No, I don't want to start my own brokerage. And I looked around, and my Atlanta crew had all gone to this little company called eXp Realty and said, hey, would you meet with somebody? And if, Sean asked me, Jeff asked me, anybody asked me, will you meet with somebody? Of course we say yes. I didn't ask questions. And Glenn Sanford, who's our founder, came into Austin, Texas to meet with me. There were 400 agents in his company. My market center had more agents in his company. But I really say people join people. And I really liked what he had to say and what his vision was for agents. And I wanted to do something exciting and different. And never in a million years did I realize what we would do with EXP. But I came on board, and I'm agent 466. And I came on board because of the stock and because of the Icon Award. That was huge for me. I was at Keller Williams for 10 years, and I got a baseball cap every single year that said Capper. And that's really not going to put my 4 kids through school. That's not going to pay my mortgage. And the idea of having stock is what was really drawn to me, and being a top producer. And so I have 7 Icon Awards. My first one was around, I think the shares were maybe around $1 a piece. That was before the split. So that's been life-changing, but I have 7 awards. I hit Icon twice in 1 year, all doing what I'm going to share with you guys today. So I'm still very much in production. Last year, I did 35 million as an individual agent in Austin. My business is 100% referral. So not only within my sphere, I work my sphere very, very well, but also with the connections and the collaboration and relationships I've built all over the nation. So I'm just going to kind of share what I do. I can share my screen. Full disclosure, this is an older presentation. It's still the same concept. And so I have newer things that, if you're looking at some of it going, oh my gosh, she's not a graphic designer. I am not a graphic designer, but I'm here to tell you, it does not have to be pretty. It does not have to be fancy. You don't have to spend a lot of money. So I'm going to give you guys some ideas of what I've done to be a top producer, and open any questions. I'm happy to share anything I've done as well. So any questions before we get started? Nope, we're good. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Hope this works. All right, y'all can see that okay?
Yep.
All right, cool. So for me, when I was getting into the business, they told me the only way I was going to be successful was if I was knocking on doors or cold calling. And I do not do either one of those. If you told me that's the only way to be successful, I would have gotten out of the business. But I don't really even talk. I don't like talking on the phone. I don't like talking on the phone to my family. I don't like talking on the phone unless there's a reason to be talking on the phone. But and I also never want anybody to see me coming and say, oh my gosh, there's Elizabeth. Run, she's going to talk to you about real estate, right? We all know those people. That's not my personality. So I'm going to show you guys how to just deepen your relationships with your sphere and the people that you know. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. Okay, the big takeaway that I want y'all to understand is it's about being proactive, not reactive. If your market is as crazy as mine, we don't have time to be thinking about or plan like last minute thinking about what we need to do to market to our clients and making sure to build that pipeline, right? So if you plan it in advance, it makes life a whole lot easier. And so my goal for you guys is to just really focus on putting a plan together. It doesn't have to be rocket science, but if you plan for it in advance, you're going to do much better instead of racing and chasing that business when we're so busy right now. Who knows what this number means? Anybody? You can put in the chat or you can just speak up. Give me an idea of what you think 83 means. No one? No guesses. No guesses. I usually get some fun guesses.
8. What would it be?
This is actually a NAR statistic. National Association of Realtors say that 83% of clients or agents do not stay in touch with their past clients. That's crazy to me. Okay. If you're selling somebody their home, that's probably one of their biggest assets. You've built that relationship, you've built that trust. Why would you not stay in touch with them? Right? I treat all of my clients like they're my one and only. They have become friends. I stay in touch with them all the time. I still am in touch with people that were in my database in Atlanta. And that's been almost 17 years. So I've been in Austin since 2008. I still, even those 44 people that I knocked on the doors and met my neighbors, after that, I went back and I wrote a handwritten note just telling them how much I appreciated meeting them and look forward to them. And I put them in my marketing touch campaign. I still, to this day, stay in touch with those people. All right. So you never know where your business is going to come from, but be part of that 17% because most agents aren't staying in touch with them. And so it gives you the opportunity to be their agent moving forward. I'm huge into leadership. Simon Sinek is one of my favorite leadership experts. And he talks about people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. So these are my 4 kiddos. These are my why, but even bigger than them being my why, my bigger why is me showing them that mom is successful, mom is a leader, mom is treating people like I'm always telling them to treat others, and building a big business that they can be proud of and they can learn from as well. So they are involved in all of my things. I call them my Luck Squad. They all have t-shirts that say Luck Squad. On the back of their shirts, it says call my agent, and it has www Lux Property Group, and it has all this stuff on there. So when they're in the neighborhood or we're doing an event or there's something Lux Property Group related, they are a part of that. And they have a number of their friends that want to be a part of the Lux Squad too. So I have t-shirts for all of them. And it's pretty awesome because kids really have fun in the mix, and clients and potential clients really love engaging with them. So for me, I didn't want to be either or. I didn't want to be mom or real estate professional. I wanted to incorporate both. And that is who my sphere is. A lot of the people that I network and I work with are people that come from the schools or have similar the sports that my kids are in. So find things that you're already involved in and become that person and become that mayor of your community, if you will. I want to be the resource. I want to be the one that everybody comes to for anything, right? Who the best dentist is. It doesn't matter. I want to be that resource. So don't be a secret agent. If they don't know what you're doing and they don't know you're available, they're not going to be able to use you. Okay. So marketing is my background. And a lot of people talk about marketing saying, it gets a little bit overwhelming, but if you make it fun, it can be interesting. Really, the big key is consistency. I touch my database consistently 36 times a year. Okay. Break that down to 3 times a month. If you're not doing anything right now, just break it down to 1 time a month. Even 1 time a month is going to be more than most agents. Okay. And you just want to stay in touch with them. If you haven't been staying in touch with them, that's okay. Start now. It's not that they're sitting there by their phone or sitting by their mailbox going, oh my gosh, Elizabeth hasn't stayed in touch with me. I haven't heard from her in months, right? So just starting anytime is better than not doing anything, but then being consistent and staying in touch with them. Inexpensive is on this list. I mentioned earlier, you don't have to spend a lot of money on marketing. I will give you guys some free, cheap, inexpensive, more expensive. I'll give you all sorts of options. But the main point of this is to be effective on the way to the trash can. Okay, so it does not, if you spend a lot of money, I hate it when agents, and if you guys do this, I'm sorry, but I hate it if agents send those magnets and it has like the calendar on it with their photo on. I'm not going to put that up there, right? That's a lot of money that they are not really thinking through, and people just throw those in the trash can, right? So you want to make an impact on the way to the trash can. All right, so January, I don't talk about throughout the year. I don't really talk about to my clients what awards I've won or that I'm platinum top 50 or any of that stuff, right? They don't care. They don't know really what that means. All they know is how I made them feel and that they felt like they were heard. They felt like they were my one and only client. They felt valued, right? So, but I do want them to know that I'm a really good agent. This one was from a number of years ago. But I send a letter out in January, always talking about kind of the state of the market. But if you'll see here, yeah, this is from 2017. If you see here that I talk a little bit about, what's going on professionally, and then personally, I let them know the winnings that I've had, the successes I've had. But then I talk about, my family, because it's like a letter to a friend. I want them to be engaged in my letter. I don't send just listed. I don't send just sold. I'm not saying don't do that. It just doesn't work for me. I don't send realtor stats. I don't send any of that stuff because that's what everybody else is doing. And I want to make sure they open my letters and my mailings, and there's something new and different in there. So this is an example of some of the letters I send. I do this every January. And then a lot of times I will, each year I'll say, well, this year I'm going to give 25% of all my commissions to XYZ charity. I sit on a lot of boards, and I'm an advisory board for a lot of nonprofits. So I'll do that sometimes. One of these years I did this gift voucher. Now, I don't know what states y'all are in, so make sure the states are okay with this, because I always get questions on that. I have no idea. I'm in Texas, but I do the gift voucher. It is made on Canva. Canva, if you don't know what Canva is, that will be your best friend. Okay. It's free. It makes it easy, but this is just a business card size that I had printed out. They hold on to this, and I put this in their letters, and I get so many referrals from this because people will call me and say, oh, I have this voucher. Can I use this? Okay. Doesn't have to be $500. It can be $100. It can be $50. It doesn't matter. It's not about the money. It's about the, again, you being top of mind. Okay. February, I didn't do it this year because, well, the market got crazy, but usually every February I go and I buy Girl Scout cookies from the Girl Scout troop in my daughter's school. Now I do this for a number of reasons. Number one, I go to the troop leader and I say, I need a list of all your Girl Scouts. Okay. And they'll say, oh, great. Okay. Why? Well, I'm going to buy a case from each of the Girl Scouts. So the troop leader loves that, right? Because there's competitions and all these things involved. Then I go to each one of the moms on that list. Hi, I want to buy a case of cookies from your daughter. They're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. One less case for them to sell. But then they ask, well, what are you buying them all for? Well, I give them to all of my clients. So every year I buy anywhere from 350 to 400 cookies, boxes of cookies. And there's one now they call thanks a lot. And I love those because I will just get a sticker and I'll just say, thanks a lot for all you do for our students in the community. And I'll buy, I think there's 80 of them of staff, and I put them in all the school teacher boxes, staff boxes. I'm not asking for business. I'm letting them know that I'm a real estate agent and I'm appreciating them. I'm giving them something of value and I'm saying thanks a lot, right? So I'm supporting the school. I'm supporting the entrepreneurial Girl Scouts. I'm supporting the families, and I'm saying thank you. Right. So we put, and then on the other boxes, I put this little Lux card and just say happy February. And I have my kids, my Lux squad, again, put ribbons on the boxes. We put this on each door. I don't knock on doors. I don't go talk to my clients. I don't want people knocking on my doors and interrupting me or what have you. I don't want to ever disturb people, and I don't have time to talk to everybody. But what I do is with the kids, I'll pick them up from school and we have a contest. Okay, Levi, see how fast you can get this one on the door. All right, Trip, your turn, right? So we make it fun. What's great about this, every year I say I'm not going to do this, and every year I end up doing it because I have clients every single year without fail that call me and they ask me if I'm doing Girl Scout cookies, and they're like, okay, I want Thin Mints, right? So if they're thinking about me every time they see a Girl Scout, I mean, that's the goal. If you don't have a Girl Scout troop, I mean, go to a grocery store. They're all sitting outside the grocery stores or different places, and give the mom your card and just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I would love to buy some for my clients, and then get their contact information that way. Okay. So another thing I do every year is this football schedule in Texas. especially, it's a big deal. I live in Austin, but I went to Texas A&M. So UT is kind of our rival. If you send me a calendar that has Baylor, Houston, and Texas, it's going in the trash, right? I don't follow those. My school's in the SEC. And so why exclude most of the schools? Why not include as many as you can? This stays up all fall. The parents love it. The dads love it. On one side, it has the Big 12. On the other side, it has the SEC. So I'm not excluding any of the teams. This is just an 8.5 by 11 cardstock. And on the back of it, I just put my my address and a stamp, and I mail it just like this. Okay. You don't have to spend a lot of money. This was made in Canva. You can also get somebody, I had somebody originally create this in Fiverr for like $5 for me. I told them what I wanted, and this is what they came up with. This is pre-COVID, when I used to do a lot more events, but now that the world's opening up a little bit more, and what I'm going over with y'all are really my main 12 touches. My other 12 touches per month are a newsletter, kind of like the first letter I showed you. And then the final 12 touches is I go through, I use an app called Reach, R-E-A-C-H. And I make sure all of my clients in my database is in there. And I just go through starting from A to Z. And I will say hello through text, or I'll do a voice text, just thinking about you, or Allie, I was in your neighborhood, just wanted to say hi. Would love to grab coffee or lunch. If they don't respond, that's okay. It's still a touch. All right. But one of the things pre-COVID, and I'm about to start doing these more, are little pop-up events, right? Where it's not just my clients, but it's anybody in the community. Remember, I want to be the mayor of my community. So there was a new little coffee shop that opened up called Epoch Coffee, and it was coffee and conversations. We love you a latte and would love to treat you to coffee. And I sent that out on Nextdoor in our neighborhood. I sent that to my sphere. We went to the coffee manager and said, we would like to buy coffee for everybody who comes in for the first 3 hours. Okay. So we made a little card that had my logo on there. I had a CPA come and I had a lender. Beautiful thing is all three of us split that cost, and it was probably $100 per person. But now you had a lender, a CPA, and a real estate agent in there, and people would say, oh, you're just buying this coffee. Yeah, but we just wanted to, we live here, we work here, we wanted to get to know our neighbors and offer any value. So there were lots of conversations that came up. I got buyer leads, I got seller leads from that, they got leads. And again, we're just showing up into the community. So that's a fun one that we're gonna do again. You know, Austin's in stage 5, so I'm pretty sensitive to all of that, and I want people to feel safe. So I haven't really kicked off the events yet. Wrap and Wine is another one we did in the Christmas time, invited the community. Client appreciations are things that we do. And then Moms and Mimosas is one that I did after sending it to all the moms saying, hey, after you drop off for your first day of school, drop by the house, have some mimosas, conversations. And we did it right after drop off. And we probably had 75 moms just come in and show up. So again, not asking about real estate. We're not asking them for anything. We're just showing up, and we're building those relationships. Okay, March is coming up. So this is easy for y'all. This is just you can do it on Canva, but this was a Word, a document that I just did clip art, easy. And I put $1 scratch off on that. Another thing that I like to do, I don't know if it's in here, but I love college basketball. My dad played for Indiana State, and so I'm a huge March Madness fan. And so I do March Madness brackets for all of my database. Now, I don't do ABC. I don't just keep my clients separate from my database. I lump everybody together and I treat them all the same. Okay. So March Madness, I send it out to everybody. It's free, cbssports.com. And you can create brackets, and then for first, second, and third, I do prizes. So that's a lot of fun. In Texas, we have homestead exemptions. So this is something else. So these are just some ideas on ways you can touch them. You just need 12. Every December, I sit down 1 through 12, and I write down what I'm going to do. I just plan it. It's not really complicated. You just have to plan what you're going to do. Okay. And these aren't, I mean, I'm not a graphics designer. These are just simple. And again, it's not about, these are old. I haven't sent these things out in a long time, but forget-me-not seeds. Another way to touch people, you can go to Home Depot, get them for 33 or 44 cents, I think. I stick them in an envelope. I staple my business card to the seeds, and I send out forget-me-not seeds. We've been busy You can always do that. Anything that you're selling or you put under contract, put a flyer out on that. This is one that when I had my third child, I actually had lost a listing because I was pregnant. And it was kind of it was a slap in the face to me. And it was kind of a surprise. And so I didn't want people to think that now that I had a third child, that I wasn't back in the industry. And I also did this so that I could let them know about Levi, but also let them know that I was back ready to work with them. And so this was just the way I sent it out when I first got back in the business after having him. Again, these are fun, silly. Some of them might appeal to you, some of them might not, but it's more about just sending out something that's authentic to who you are and genuine, because people are going to see right through you if you're not being real. Community is huge, like I mentioned. So I sponsor everything. People come to me now all the time saying, hey, will you sponsor this? Yes, I will sponsor this, because I get more bang for my buck just being out in the community. So we have a baseball teams here, Northwest Little Leagues, that you can sponsor Little League teams. We have a basketball organization where it's all the community. It's not just for a school. So I sponsor every single year. I sponsor the teams that my kids are on, which this year I have 2 kids in basketball. And what's great about that is my name's on all of their shirts. They don't just wear them for basketball, they wear them for school, they wear them in the community. But I always love when a real estate agent's on my team and they have to wear my name on the back of their kid's shirt. So there's just a couple of, that doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Sponsoring the chili cook-off and car show, that was sponsoring a nonprofit here that focuses on children with cancer. So we sponsored a chili team. So the whole Lux team, we all went out there and had the family and the kids, and it was just a lot of fun. Screenagers, that was something that the high school and middle school had asked me to sponsor. And so that went out, that was a free screening in their theaters. And it was over 3 different nights, and I paid for everything. And it got in front of 500 families per night. So I was able to follow up with them and build up business that way. So be creative and think of ways that you can get more involved in the community and sponsor activities. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. In the fall, one of the big things I always hear is it's not a good time to sell in the fall. So we did top 10 reasons to sell your home during the holidays. Again, we do a lot with the kids. We go to Dollar Tree, and I got a bunch of pumpkin carving kits for $1, made a little contest, and then all the kids got to share their photos and they got to win. I send glow sticks out during the holidays. I'll address things to the kids, right? Because again, it goes to the parents. The parents know what you're doing, but it's something for the kids and it's a lot of fun. The one at the bottom right had temporary tattoos. I'll go to Wendy's. Wendy's has those frosty coupons, and during the holidays, especially Halloween, you can go to Dollar Tree and get Halloween cards. And I wrote Halloween cards to each of the clients' kids, and I put in frosty coupons in there, just saying, I hope you have a great Halloween. Your favorite realtor, Elizabeth Riley, right? So just have fun with it. These things are all really inexpensive. The word searches you can find online for free, and then you just incorporate it into Canva. The one on the left is a little bit more expensive. I purchased 2 $5 Starbucks cards for each client or each person in my database. I don't do one $10 one. I do 2 $5. And then I put this letter together and I put those 2 in the mail. And so a lot of people would tag me, put me on social media. Thank you, Elizabeth, for the cup of coffee. My friend and I are sharing, having a coffee date, things like that. So that one's a little bit more expensive. Maybe you do that for your clients or your A+, cheerleaders, but that one's always a fun one. And then to the right, I travel a lot, especially before COVID. I'm starting to travel a lot now, but I always have note cards in my bag. Always. I have stamps, pens, and note cards. And as I'm sitting, anytime I have downtime, I'm always writing handwritten notes to my clients. Okay. When you're on Facebook, think about this. When you're scrolling through Facebook, think of ways you can compliment, congratulate, or console somebody, right? And instead of just giving them a heart or a like or something like that, if there's something that that you can write a letter about. I have note cards all the time where I write a handwritten note, just letting people know I'm thinking about them. Hey, I saw your daughter won the volleyball championship. That is so amazing. I can't believe how big she's gotten. I would love to see you sometime soon. Maybe we can grab coffee, right? I'm not asking about real estate, but handwritten notes aren't used as much anymore, and it goes a long way. Okay, this is one of my favorite things I do. Every December, I pick a charity and I make a donation in the name of my clients. And then I send a note card to my clients letting them know what I've done. So for example, a donation has been made in the name of, in your name, to A Link to Hope. That was a local charity one of my clients was involved in. I try to stay local if I can. The beautiful thing about this is during the holidays, people get bombarded with all sorts of stuff, candy and gift cards and whatever. And again, you want to set yourself apart from other people. So they don't need to know how much your donation was. For those people that, don't have a huge budget, you can do $1, you can do $10, $100. They don't know what the amount was. And then I send a letter to the organization, for example, A Link to Hope, and I'll say, this donation was made in the name of all my clients and friends. And then I put all their first and last names. I don't put contact information, but I send that letter with all their names. And then I make these cards on Canva or Vistaprint or what have you, and I send them out. And then you have a write-off, right? So you've touched them in a different way. I get a lot of people that love this. But what I've done for a number of years, this year I did it. I think this is my third house I've built through New Story. Glenn Sanford is really, really involved with New Story. It means a lot to him, and he did a bunch of challenges. And so anything important to Glenn, I'm so grateful for him that, I want to jump in and help too. So over the years, I've purchased 3 different homes. This year I purchased one in the name, and then they can follow along. And then what happens is, if you see on the left-hand side, that was a picture of what they were living in. And the right-hand side is the house that we were able to build together. And during that process, I was able to show my clients and let them share in that process, which makes your donation and your touch even go further, and you have more excuses to touch them. Brag on yourself. This is something I'm not very good at doing. I'm not a huge social media fan. I'm trying to get out there a little bit more because I know it's important, not just for business, but just for credibility. So brag on yourself, incorporate that in anything that you do. So any of my touches now, I'm starting to put, Platinum Top 50 winner or icon agent or anything like that. But just brag on yourself and use your designations that you have. And then I think this is my last slide, and then I can open it up for questions. A lot of people just get stuck. I mean, it's easy to get stuck, right? Where, okay, I don't have any ideas. I don't know what to do. There's a ton of fun holidays throughout the year. You can just even Google crazy holidays, 2022, and you'll come up with all sorts of things. I mean, they have National Cookie Day, National Margarita Day, National whatever day. You can have fun with those things. You just need 12, right? So this is just a list of, me thinking about different ways you can touch people. If you like to be more real estate focused, then be a little bit more real estate focused, right? One of the big things we'll do in April is homestead exemption and then property tax protest and support. But just find any excuse to touch people. And then that's what's going to keep building that relationship year after year. Again, I have done this consistently for 16 years. My last 6 months, I've been a little bit shaky just because of how the market, but it's something that is always top of mind, and I'm starting to jump back into it. So, just give yourself some grace, because I know we're all busy, but it's not always about getting everything right. It's about failing forward and just progress, not perfection. So here are some ideas. I can always screenshot these, but I think you guys might have been able to screenshot it already. And I think that's that's the last page on this one. So I know I talked fast. I just wanted to make sure to get through it all. And is this helpful to give you guys ideas on what we're doing? I mean,
super helpful.
I know some, but I did. It was kind of funny, but people take notice, right? So I had a friend of mine who during COVID, right, we're all shelter in place. I did a Canva with lemons, and on the front it said, "Are your 4 walls giving you the squeeze?" Right, and then on the back of it, it said, "Well, let Lux Property Group make lemonade out of lemons and help you find your next home." And then I put a package of Kool-Aid lemonade. in there. Okay. That one thing gave me so much social media exposure because all the mamas are stuck in the house with their kids. And so now they're making lemonade with their kids and they're putting it on stories and social media. Oh my gosh, thank you for an activity. We were we were needing something to do. But on that one, my friend called me and she goes, why do you do this? I'm not going to buy a house from you because you sent lemonade. I said, because you're missing the point. I said, who did you think of as soon as you got that? Who are you calling me now? She's like, I said, I want to be top of mind. And if I do something like that every week or every month, when people ask, hey, I'm going to buy or sell a house, who are you going to think about? And she's like, okay, I get it. Right. What the cool thing is she's been watching me for a number of years and without telling me got a real estate license and joined my group. Right. So it's kind of fun once people understand, but you want to stay top of mind in whatever you're doing and be consistent. So I see chats. I don't know if these are questions.
Angelique was asking about Canva. Is it Canva? It's just canva.com, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's free.
CANVA.
Yeah, it's free. You can buy the pro version. I have the pro version just because it allows for you to add your branding and your colors and things like that. But you don't, it's free. I'm telling you, don't spend money till you're making money. Definitely. But yes, CANVA, correct. And then Fiverr is FIVERR, 2 R's. Oh, Kim, I might need to know that because I can't design anything, as you can see. So I might need to know if you'll find me on WordPress. That would be awesome.
They look good. I love the idea, like you're sitting there, like again, that free time, and you're scrolling through Facebook, and you mentioned like the example you gave of here's somebody that had like their daughter with a big volleyball win or something, and to just handwrite a card, like just a little note like that, and put a stamp on there and mail it out. Those handwritten it's so easy to do. It's so easy not to do as well, but just how powerful that is. Because we all open those things, when they're handwritten. We don't get handwritten notes anymore.
No, I love getting handwritten notes. Anytime I get them, I'm like, this is awesome. Somebody took their time out of their day to let me know they were thinking of them, right? And same thing with referrals. If I get a referral, I don't care if I've ever heard from the buyer or seller, right? That they're referring to me. But I'm going to take care of my referral partners. So if I get a referral from a client or a past client or somebody from my sphere, I'm immediately I have a bunch of gift cards as well. I just buy a whole bunch, like Starbucks, you can get the packs for $10 each or whatever. And I just handwrite a note. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I haven't talked to John yet, but when I do, I'll take great care of them. It means the world that you support me, and I give them a gift card. I was doing, they have all those apps where you can do greetable and you can send them something immediately. What I was realizing was that was easy for me to do, but it wasn't making the impact. I wasn't getting the responses like I was getting before. So I always take care of my referral partners. If you're a new agent and you don't have a lot of money, then don't put a gift card in there, right? Just do a handwritten note. A handwritten card goes a long way, right? It's not about the money being spent. It's just about being thought of. Do I include my business cards? No, I don't. I don't have business cards anymore. In fact, I use a metal card called OVU, OVOU. And it has a QR code because what was happening is I would give my business card out, but when you give your business card, you've lost control of that conversation or the communications, right? Because now you're just waiting on that other person to respond to you. So what I was doing this for a long time. Even if I had business cards, I didn't carry them with me. I was like, I'm out. Can I get your information? I'll send you all my information. Now I can send them a handwritten note. I can let them know. My contact information and things like that. So on my personal notes, I don't add my branding, or I don't add my business cards, but I do have my branding on the envelopes. OVOU. OVOU.
OVOU. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's pretty cool. And what happens is they can just scan the QR code and it goes immediately into your contacts. And then you can share contacts back and forth. But people always think it's pretty cool and techie. So I'm like, ooh, because I am not a cool and techie person, but if they think I am because of OVU, I'm all over it.
It's good. With your past clients, because you said you, how often do you keep in touch with past clients?
So I lump everybody together.
Okay.
So once a month, I do a direct mail piece, kind of like what I just showed you guys.
Okay.
And then once a month, I send a newsletter. Now, I might change my newsletter to quarterly. I think we all get bombarded with newsletters and email, really. And so, but I realized once I was just doing kind of a generic newsletter. Once I changed it to more of writing a letter to a friend, I was getting about 80% open rate, right? Because it was more personal. It wasn't, just more junk. But I just think people get overwhelmed with email. So I'm probably going to change that to quarterly. Quite frankly, I'm busy too. So, it's hard to sit there and take the time to do it all. And then, like I said, I try to go to lunch or coffee with them. Any time I'm going to lunch or coffee, it's with somebody. I try to go once a week because I have a lot of people in there. But again, if you're touching them, just because they can't go to coffee or lunch, it's still a touch. And so reach is what I use, so they're all top of mind. I have my agents in reach. You can set up different groups and past clients or whatever, or active clients, but it makes it easy to just always be in touch with them.
Definitely. And guys, if you're not using Reach, it's an app on your phone. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah, because I use Reach.
Yeah.
So it's right down there in the bottom. Reach, that little green with the R in there. Just download it. Yeah, you can put everybody in all different groups. I got probably 20 different groups in there. Text out. Yeah, for sure.
It gives them an individual text. That's what I like about it. It's not like
it's not a group text.
One message, right? I can say, this is what I've done. I do with my agents, quite frankly. I'm so blessed to be in business with you. Yada yada. You're a rock star. I'm always doing stuff like that. But instead of typing that every single time, or copying and pasting it every single time, or doing a huge group text, it goes individually. And so then I can add additional, anything I need to add. But it makes it really, really convenient.
Right. What kind of questions do you guys have, or thoughts, comments? This has been awesome. Thank you, Elizabeth. Really, really good stuff. Lane's applauding.
Thanks, Lane.
Sean, you're up there. You're unmuted. What? Any thoughts on this with what you're hearing?
Yeah, I just have a couple comments. It's first of all that I thought it was phenomenal. The biggest thing I'm gathering from it is you just gave us all a ton of ideas. I think a lot of times, at least for someone like me, it's coming up with the ideas, and you've got this huge list that we now can look at, and then just be able to put those 12 together, like you said. Here it is. It's February. We could still put the next 10 months together, proactively doing all that, and how to kind of have it ready. Then it sounds like you put all that together. At least you choose the 12 things you're going to do. Then throughout the rest of the year, anytime you come across, like you were talking about, personal stuff, whether or not you saw one of their children, want an event, whatever. You put it all out there right now. Yes, it takes time to do it, but to me, the biggest challenge was you've helped us overcome that. What are all the different ideas? Let's put the 12 together before the year even kicks off. Just the whole thing to me is phenomenal, because I can see it also on the other side of attraction, doing the same kind of thing with everybody you've ever known in real estate. So Elizabeth, phenomenal. Gave me a bunch of great ideas, and I'm sure it did for all of us on here.
Thanks.
I think the fact, because for years I was spending. I used Boomtown. I had a team, and I would pay. It was $2,000 a month for Boomtown. To bring in leads, to give enough leads to our team, so that we could all have enough business. And eventually it grew to like the referrals definitely started taking over. I got really good at the past client thing for sure. I had a 7-year campaign that I did with past clients, and so that paid off really big. But this idea here, how good Lord, I think about how much money could I have saved over the years just to get more creative with some of these kind of ideas, because $24,000 a year, there's no way you're spending that, in terms of, when you're doing 100% referral,
Now,
and again,
the thing is, I grew up with nothing, right? And so any penny that I earn is so precious to me even now. And it's my husband, I'm like, I'm cheap. And he's like, don't say you're cheap, you're frugal. I'm like, I'm cheap. Like, if I don't have to spend money, I'm not, I love spending money on my family and everybody else, but like, I don't want to be wasteful, right? And I just was think about how much stuff you get in the mail and you just throw away. I don't even look at half of it, because it's like, that's not even, worth it. And then I feel bad. Oh, the people who send like the penny in there or any of that so much, like, that's not impactful, right? And you have to just be intentional in what you're doing. And so I want to have fun, but again, you have to figure out who your audience is. I know my audience has all the kids and has, the nonprofit and things like that. And so I just like to come from a servant mindset, but I don't want to you don't have to spend a lot of money to do that. And what it allows me to do is saves money for me to be able to sponsor, events for nonprofits or things like that, where you can have a bigger impact. The lead thing, I can't relate to that, Jeff, but I talk to so many people that spend so much money every single month. And I'm like, okay, do you have, there's probably a different way, but you can have different funnels too. You don't have to do all of what I do. You don't have to do all of what you do. That's what's so cool about this industry. We can just kind of pick and choose what we want to do with whatever works for our personalities.
Even like that thing, just even to do some sort of a coffee event, simple. Yeah. But to, like you said, bring in a lender, a CPA, and yourself, you split it 3 ways. If it's $300 total for something like that, $100 a piece, and to write that off, and you had a couple hours with, a bunch of clients. I mean, it's like, that's so simple to do. It's just coordinating that and organizing that. It's not that big of a deal,
Yeah. I think we overthink it and we get ready to get ready.
Yeah.
So
totally.
I just had to tell myself, stop getting ready to get ready. It's not perfection, right?
Mm-hmm.
The coffee and conversations thing was easy. I called a manager, and at first he was like, wait, what are you wanting to do? Why, because a real estate agent wants to come in there. Well, we weren't being salesy at all. And it took him trusting us and recognizing what we were doing. We're like, look, we just want to come and add value. And if nobody wants to talk to us, nobody wants to talk to us, but we're buying all their coffee, right? And then he recognized, oh, okay, you are truly building those relationships. We weren't saying, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell a house? Right. I don't respond well in those situations. Like if somebody cold calls me, you've lost me, right? So, and I'm not saying that, people are very, very successful in those ways. I just had to figure out what my lane was, right? Yeah. What was real for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Definitely.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Go ahead, Gary.
Hi, Elizabeth, Gig'em.
Oh, Gig'em, there you go.
Oh, yeah. Great information, especially I really appreciate the information about writing the personal notes. I think it goes 1,000 miles. Most importantly, I think is the idea of getting the SEC and 8 football schedule.
Yeah. My husband, did you graduate from A&M?
Yeah.
Okay, what year are you?
Pre year 2000, but like that, long time ago.
I was pre 2002, so was my husband. But it's funny because my husband grew up in College Station, and we live in Austin. And y'all, my husband tells everybody we meet we're a light living in a dark place because of being Aggies in Longhorn country. And so for me, it's kind of fun. Everybody's sending out the Longhorn calendars. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I just did it a little bit different. And whenever I go over to friends' houses or whatever, they keep those all season long, because it's all the different teams, and they're not just following how their teams are, right? You just limit it to 3 teams. You've excluded 2 conferences essentially. So football is just really big here. If hockey's big where you are or something else, do another sport, but football's big here.
Well, I'm proud of my other Aggie daughters on this webinar also. Marcy Moorhead. Gig'em, Marcy.
Oh, awesome. Gig'em. Love it.
Ron Atencia, did you have a comment, question?
Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you for the information. That was wonderful. My question is, do you have a particular database, or do you use KV Core, and then how do you send out your email, or do you update your database on personal information for each client?
Good question. I'm horrible with my CRM. The best CRM is the one you use. So for many, 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 many years, I used Excel. I may just go back to that because it's easier for me. I don't use KV Core only because we didn't have KV Core when I joined EXP. We didn't have a lot of the resources and stuff that we have now. And so I have Follow Up Boss. I do, on my list, I'm going to transfer everything from Follow Up Boss back to KV Core, because I think it's really valuable when the company is providing such an amazing tool for free. I want to use the tools that the company is providing, right? Showing people what we have here, but I just haven't done it yet because that's painful. Like moving CRMs is painful. I don't use a CRM like I think most people use a CRM. My friend Renee Funk uses Follow Up Boss. I look at what they're able to do with it, and it's just incredible. Mine is really just holding the data, so that's why Excel works best for me. But It's really just what you're going to use. You need to use something to keep organized, especially as you grow. And I'm starting to use the database a little bit more, or the CRM a little bit more, because I'm trying to track the referrals. As my referral business has grown, I want to track that a little bit better than I was doing. So I'm going to move back to KV, or I'm moving everything to KV Core. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Let's start out here. Alvin Culberson, could you unmute yourself? Do you mind? Not to put you on the
Yes.
spot. What's a thought going through your head as you go through? How long have you been in real estate, Alvin?
I've been in real estate since 2012. I've been full-time since 2018. I
Okay.
joined EXP last April.
Okay. So what thoughts do you have? Just to you know, what are you thinking as you listen to this? All this stuff.
This pretty much just reinforces kind of what I run my business off of. When I first got into the business, I didn't have a really big database, so I did do a lot of cold calling and things like that at first. But you know, the more you do stuff like that, the more you network with people. I've built a nice size database, and unfortunately, like the 83, I'm a part of the 17. I keep in touch with everybody.
Good.
Whether they are ready now, whether I sold them my house a few years ago, I do a really good job at keeping in touch with my database and just in touch with people, period. So
cool. Those of you guys with your cameras on, just by a show of hands, how many of you guys would put yourself in the 17%? You keep in touch with your past clients. Just raise your hands. Who's part of the 83%? You really don't have it. Okay. Yeah, I get you. And I would tell you, like, that's so valuable right there. I mean, again, I had a 7-year campaign. Now, back in the day, this was like, it was all by, I think it was by we did mailings, and then we did some emails, and I got so much business out of that. I mean, just, you know, quick little, just something to put your name back out there. Just keep it out there. Keep it out there. You know, that
and can
little
I
PS
add
at the
one
bottom.
thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, one of the things I think that some people struggle with following up with people and staying in touch is, like she was saying, it doesn't have to be about real estate. But once you actually start to keep in touch with people, that conversation actually will just flow naturally. You know, it could be based on the last thing you guys talked about, but it actually just happens naturally. So it doesn't necessarily have to be about real estate, like she said. But you staying in touch with them and staying on top of mind, they will remember that, and they'll definitely send you those referrals.
So I'll tell you a story about that. When we first moved here, like I mentioned, my son Trip was 18 months, and we went and knocked on doors. Well, 4 doors down from us was Dorothy, and everybody in my neighborhood was probably 30 years older than me at the time. Okay, so they all loved us. They were kind of like our little grandparents, but Dorothy lived there, and years later, so that was 2008. So years later, this was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, I had a client that was going to buy in that neighborhood, and I got to go visit with them again. Well, I found out that Dorothy had moved to an assisted living home or what have you, and they were renting out the property, and I was able to get the property for my clients because of that. But here's what's interesting about it. About a month or 2 later, after we sold Dorothy's property, after my clients bought our property, which that's another thing, when you have those relationships, sometimes you can make off-market deals happen. And I've had that happen a whole lot, just because people know that we can make, you know, these conversations going. So about 2 or 3 months after that, I get a call from Dorothy's daughter. Never met Dorothy's daughter. Okay. And she says, I want you to come over and talk to me about listing my house. Absolutely. I would love to do that. Never met her, didn't know anything about her house, but I go over and I do my pre-listing packet. I do everything like I do with all my other clients, because I'm going to interview for this listing. Well, I sit down at the table and I said, you know, started my whole thing. She's like, well, do you have the paperwork for me to fill out? And I kind of looked at her and I said, the listing paperwork? And she said, yeah, to list my house. And I said, oh, I figured you might have some question we could talk about. She's like, no, I've already decided you're going to list my house. And I said, well, that's wonderful. I would love to list your house. Just curious, what made you come to that decision? She said, you and I have never met, but you sent notes to my mom for years consistently. And she said, you would always make my mom smile. She felt so important and so valued. I hadn't seen Dorothy, y'all, in years, since like that first couple of years that we lived there. But I was consistent. She said, if you can make my mom smile and make her feel that way, I knew you were the agent for me. And her house was a $1.2 million house I ended up listing just because I stayed in touch with her mom, and I had never met her, but she saw the impact that me just staying in touch with her mom made, right? You never know who's watching. You never know where that business is going to come from. And it was amazing. But I got a $1.2 million deal just from sending out letters to a lady that lived by herself, and it made her feel special. So
Yeah. One of the things too, I mean, just to share this, because along this lines, and it was a lead that came in, I think, for Boomtown. This is way back when. And I just put them in my system. They weren't ready to buy right now, just looking, kind of typical for some internet leads like that. But I stayed in touch. I put them in the system, and they started getting that constant touch. And it was 8 years later. And these people called me up. I had to look. I didn't know who these people are. They're just getting these automated things that are going out, but it was just that consistency with it. And they called me up. I go meet with them, and their next door neighbor's a realtor, and they're like, yeah, no, he's been all over us. Our best friends at church, he's a realtor, but there's no way we couldn't use you. My God, you've been talking to us for 8 years. And so I ended up listing their house. They sold their house, bought another house with me, and then ended up, it was like probably 5 years later, bought another house with me and sold the house that we had sold them 5 years earlier. I mean, it turned into 4 different deals, well over probably 30, 40 grand in commission. These were all big deals, but it was just that consistent, that thing of just dripping on them, touching them, with all these different things that you've been talking about, that kind of stuff, having them in that database. It just, the payoff on that can be so big down the road. So really, really good.
it's just nice to build referral base, because we're working smarter, not harder, right? And
Totally.
like I said, I mean, last year was my biggest year ever. I mean, but to sell 35 million just referrals, it just
huge.
didn't seem, I mean, I was busy, but I was having fun. It didn't seem like I was, overworked or stressed or things like that. And I think it's just because I had that rhythm down.
Yeah, for sure. Sean, do you have a comment? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sean.
I was going to say something. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you?
I'm good.
I've run into you a couple times. Actually, I interviewed you before I ever came to EXP.
I was going to say I thought that was the case, but I can remember.
Yeah, I interviewed you and Aaron Ken. You both had brokerages and you were building something, and then you came over. I wanted to kind of see how that transition looked, and I'm glad I did. So thank you for talking with me about it.
Awesome.
I was going to share one thing about, a lot of the things, almost 100% of what you've got here is doable, right? It's duplicatable, it's trainable. If I'm building a team, right, and I do leads, I create leads for my agents. I also just only do referrals. I don't know if I've ever remember working a cold lead, but I do all of mine through referrals, and I'm nowhere near saturated in a system that you have. It's incredible all the different ways you touch everyone. It's brilliant. But these are things that can be coached to our teammates, right, or other people in our own rev share that we can help grow their business. And I think that's a fascinating part of it, without spending money or spending very little. So I wanted to share that doing things that are duplicatable is generally almost always the right thing, and it helps all of us do better. So that was the only other thing I wanted to share. Oh, last thing, do you put people in your touch that you don't want to work with again? Because I'm sure you've had clients you wouldn't want to work with.
No,
again.
I take them out.
Okay.
Yeah, not all
I wanted
business.
to ask that. I wanted to clarify
no.
that.
Not all business is good business, right? There's some business that just, I mean, I've got a closing today, seriously, like listing today, that as soon as we close, she'll be out of my database, right? Not because we haven't had a great relationship, but she talks about suing everybody all the time. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's toxic, right? I just want to work with people that I enjoy working with. And I think when you build your business, you have that choice. As a newer agent, I remember, like, you just have to, we were taking business just to get build that up. But just not all business is good business. Sometimes I've spent more money than I needed to because I was taking an overpriced listing just to have it. And it's okay to say no. But that took some time for me to realize. And yeah, so no, I take them out of my database. I don't want to waste time or energy or effort on it.
For sure. Well, good stuff, guys. We're going to wrap it up. Elizabeth, thank you so much. Let me address a couple things here in the chat. Those of you who are part of, with EXP, this video will be posted up to our workplace group, Freedom Team. and you can find that recording in there. All the recordings from every one of these going clear back into last year are in there. Okay. If you're not a part of EXP, get back with the person who invited you into this mastermind. And they can send you the YouTube link. The workplace thing, Kim, just so you know, it's only for the people that are asking that question. Several of them are not part of EXP, so they won't be able to get into workplace to get that recording. But we can send it to you because it will be uploaded to YouTube, and so we can send you that YouTube link so you can watch this again and any one of these. But we're doing this every Tuesday at the same time, and you guys are all welcome. And you're welcome to bring any guests that you want to bring in here, because the more the better, more comments, all that stuff. But guys, give it up for Elizabeth. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Seriously, it was awesome. Really, really good stuff. So guys, have a great rest of your day. For those of you part of EXP, we'll be back here on Thursday morning at 9 o'clock for another training there. Different Zoom link for that. You got that. All the stuff is in there, and Freedom Team, all the other stuff we're doing, lots of stuff going on. So have a great day. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you very much. Thanks, Elizabeth. It's awesome stuff.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.